Now there's one question we have to ask ourselves when we move to verse 9. On the screen you'll see it. Out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, which grew exceedingly great toward the south, toward the east, and toward the beautiful land. Now the first question I ask myself is, out of one of them, out of one of them, which them is it referring to? On the screen we have to put up verse 8. Then the male goat magnified himself exceedingly, but as soon as he was mighty, the large horn was broken, and in its place there came up 4 conspicuous horns towards the 4 winds of heaven. Verse 9, out of one of them came forth a rather small horn. What does them refer to? That's a very good question. Let's ask ourselves, is it the horns? Does out of one of them, is it the 4 conspicuous horns? Or is it the 4 winds of heaven? Now, if you see on the screen, you can see in the NASB, the horns aren't in the Bible. But that's not a most critical, the translators put horns in there as to reference them. It's not in the original Hebrew. But here's where we have to take a look at the gender of these particular objects we're looking at. And I'm going to put up the gender right there, you see on the screen. Horns is feminine, and the winds can be feminine or masculine. So then knowing that, we'd have to ask ourselves the question, what does them refer to? Now them on the screen you see is masculine, so gender would have to match. So we can easily match this. Out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, out of one of the 4 winds. And when the Bible is talking about 4 winds, basically it's talking about the 4 winds of heaven, meaning north, south, east, or west. So from one of the directions of the winds, of the geographical directions of the winds, north, south, east, or west, out comes a small horn, okay? And look what it does. It says it grew exceedingly great towards the south, toward the east, and towards the beautiful land. Think about this. We've just gone through Medo-Persia, Greece. Now, according to the pattern, what should emerge? Yeah, that's right. Rome should emerge. So take a look at this screenshot here, because it grew exceedingly great. I just underlined that. It grew exceedingly great. Look at the extent of the Roman Empire. The exceedingly great Roman Empire. That's the extent of its greatest conquering territory right there on the screen. Now, which directions does it grow? It moves towards the south, toward the east, and toward the beautiful land. You can see that on the screen. The south would be the Punic Wars. The east would be the Macedonian Wars. And towards the beautiful land, it would eventually conquer the Palestinian region of Judea, where God's people live. So there's no question, this little horn comes out of the west or the north, depending on how you're looking at it. But it's got to come from the west of the north to grow south, east, and towards the beautiful land. Like what you see? Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, or you can go to angelsintheglen.org. That's angelsintheglen.org. We've got an entire series for you to take you through the events that must take place before Christ returns. God wants His people ready. It's not a time to fear, it's a time to be ready. I hope you'll join us.